All right, guys, we're back. Went ahead and finished the floor. As you can see, didn't have enough for the end. The Home Depot that I went to didn't have any more of the flooring material. So I didn't want to stop progress for the day. I have to go to a different Home Depot tomorrow and get some more of the flooring material. But in the meantime, I wanted to go ahead and do another live stream. Excuse me. And let's go ahead and do the work that we can do without having to put the additional flooring in the back. So what I want to work on right now is finish putting in my equipment rack that's in the corner of the screen that you really can't see from the camera angle. I'll show it to you once I get done. We're going to go ahead and attach it to the wall, and then I'm going to go ahead and mount my network equipment. And then we're going to install the electrical boxes. And we've got some blinds. I don't think my neighbor really cares, but I don't want anybody seeing in here. So I'm going to go ahead and install some blinds. Eventually, that window is going to have an AC unit installed in it, and that will be for the summertime. Right now, it's about 40 degrees, and I definitely don't need any AC. And probably tomorrow, I'm going to go ahead and cut a hole through the back wall and install the vent and also the fan. Anyway, let's get started. So for my regular drill bit, the aluminum angle that I'm using is a little hard to cut through. So I'm going to go ahead and pre-drill a hole with this self-tapping screw. And then I'm going to drill a hole with the drill bit and then put in anchor bolts. And I'll show you those in just a second. So these are the anchor bolts that I'm going to use. So I can get a good shot on camera. They're designed to go into the wood and give it some bite. And I got some washers as well. So I'll have a good clamping surface. All down here, I might as well go through this. Went ahead and got some face plates. I have NEMA L630 receptacles that are going to plug into my PDUs that I purchased from eBay. These face plates are like 85 cents at Home Depot, Lowe's, or whatever you have in your area. Not very expensive. Also got some old school light bases. So once I put the boxes up here, down through here, I've got 4. I'll attach these here, and I'll have lighting all the way down. Hopefully, with the LED lighting, It will be bright enough for me to work in here at night if I'd like. But with a bunch of Vegas going, probably be bright in here anyway with all the LEDs and everything else going on. All right, so let me go ahead and pre-drill some holes, at least through the aluminum, so I don't kill my drill bit. Only on camera. Any other time, I think I could probably get this in here. Looks like my battery's about dead. I'm going to have to switch drills. Drill those holes out. This is going to be just a little bit, the diameter is just a little bit less than the lag bolts that I'm putting in. My drill's about dead. All right, be right back. I'm gonna go get another drill. Probably go a little quicker. Let's go ahead and put our light bulbs in. Make sure this is super strong. It's going to have probably 25 to 30 pounds hanging off of it. I don't know, maybe less, 20 pounds, but either way, I really don't want a firewall and a network switch falling and hitting the ground. All right, let's put them in. That's going anywhere. As you guys can probably see, the bolts aren't all very even. I try to get as much of the aluminum material as possible. Unfortunately, the shed is not necessarily built to code, so it's not an actual 18-inch center. When I originally built the frame, I built it for an 18-inch center stud. So I kind of had to split the middle. I think I got enough width, especially with the washers. I think I got enough meat, enough material. Looks pretty sturdy. Let me go get the network equipment. We'll go ahead and mount it. our firewall first. It's the biggest and heaviest. All right, so firewall is in place. Let's go ahead and put the switch in. Like I said, this is just a 24-port switch now. Been in IT a while. I've had most of this stuff, purchased most of it off of eBay. Got 2 uplink ports on the firewall. If one dies, there'll be another one to take over. No reason to go into too much technical detail there. There we go. All right. So now the firewall's in the way. I'm going to go ahead and mount my blinds. Cheap drill doesn't have anything but fast. Be great if it had 2 different speeds. All right. So if you've never mounted one of these before, just has 2 little quick snap-in brackets. Doesn't have to be precise. There you go. Doesn't have to be precise, guys, but these cheap aluminum blinds like this, basically it mounts like this, and the bracket, or the top piece of the blind, sits in here and grabs it, the edge, the outside edge, with this little hook. End caps. Now with my wonderful 1-speed drill, hopefully I don't bust through the cheap back bracket before I can pull my finger off the trigger. One. Just get one of them started and put the other one in, then run it down. I have to get a different bit for this. I have to get a longer bit. I'll do that in just a moment. kind of eyeball it. And drop it. And drop it. All right. I'm better at building rigs and working on computers than I am construction. All right, well, let's try to use the right tool. We find a longer shank screwdriver bit. Let's try that one. The other one in. Try to get even. All right. Put the end caps on. All right, let's push these into the end. All right, looks about right. Okay. I guess it helped to untie the knot. It probably would have been easier before I did this, put it up into place. We'll just work with what we got. Go. And now we have lines. I'll install the rest of that later. If that's helping with the video, let's go ahead and leave it closed. There we go. All right. So the next thing I want to do is install the electrical boxes. And I think I've said this before. I am not a licensed electrician, and code here may be different than the code in your area. So I'm not going to give any recommendations on video or in the comments. But in my particular area, they've got recommendations in code, and that's what I'm going to try to follow. All right, so we're going to install some 1 and 2 gang electrical boxes. If you're not familiar with them, so 1 gang, this is the 2 gang. Means you can have 2 outlets or 2 switches, 1 outlet, 1 switch. For the way I've got the shed laid out, the way I'm going to wire it, we're going to do a 1 gang. We're going to do a 1 gang. Down here, 2 gang over here, another 1 gang, and a 2 gang. Because I'm going to have 220, 240, the NEMA outlets in these. And then I'm going to have a standard 110, 120, and a 220, 240 in this box. That way I can still run any peripherals off the 110, 120 that I don't want to hook up to the 220. Obviously, 220 is going to be more efficient than the 120 or 110. But some of the equipment, some of the screens, stuff like that, because of the cords that I already have, it's just easier for me to go ahead and run 120 dedicated to those devices. All right, let me go ahead and mark everything off. Be right back. so I'm going to go ahead and take my measurements, make my marks where I'm going to put the boxes. All right. If you've watched my previous videos, I talked about, I'm going to go ahead and set up the first set of racks over here. And I'll be able to put 96 cards on the right side. Well, this side of the screen. And on the other side, I'm going to have to build a smaller rack for additional cards. But eventually I'm going to get limited because I've only got a 225 amp service. But we're talking 160, 180 cards, something like that. It's been a while since I've done the math, but all right, let's put the boxes in. Start out with the one gang. If you're not familiar with this, I'm not going to do drywall in here, but if you are, there are these tabs on the side. And what that does is gives you a place to put it up against the edge of the stud and gives you about a ½ inch so that you can install drywall if you want. It's a good marker. This is not a normal home construction, so I'm going to be putting them just like everybody else would. I'm just not going to be putting drywall over it. There's a knockout in the top of the box. That's where you bring the electrical wire in. You go ahead and knock those out. And then as you can see, they've got nails. Once you put it in place, you just hammer it in and it's ready to go. Do our two gang. Put that far enough back. All right. One gang. And then the final one on this side, two gang. You're not going to be able to see it, but the electrical panel itself will sit in here. I've already got the 225 amp box ready. Then I'm going to be putting some additional switches in the corner here. You can't see it. But once I get done, I will take some pictures and put them on the website. All right, so the next ones are the electrical. All right. Next ones are the electrical. The electrical boxes for ceiling fans, light fixtures, things like that. We're going to put them up here. You guys can see this one. Raise the camera a little bit. We'll just do this so you can see somewhere in here. But I'm going to put it in the middle, just off camera. So what I'm going to do, I know that I have 11 feet, 6 inches. Try to make this look somewhat uniform. So 66 inches of space. It's 5'6". So at the 33-inch mark, we'll mark our studs. Like I said, I only have 4 of them. So definitely want one back here with the inside of this one, and that one as you come in the door. All right, let's go ahead and mark it. Right, and then we'll mark the inside of this stud. And the inside of this stud. All right. And I went with LED lighting in here. So all the lights together, it's going to be equivalent of 240 watts distributed across the shed. I'm hoping that's going to be enough light. But I believe the bulbs are only 13 watts apiece. I've used them before. They work pretty well. Provide a lot of light, especially the daylight bulbs. still. So hit a knot on that one. And the last one. Oh my gosh. Maybe I should do a fifth light bulb just so I have one on every rafter, but kind of looks odd to only have two and then miss a stud. Probably go back to Home Depot and get another box. See or not. All right. So obviously, once the wires are run, we can install these. You see this one? These just screw on right here, and then I just screw my light bulb in. Let's go ahead and do this other wall. I'm going to go ahead and put a box underneath the network equipment, and I'm just going to run it off a normal 110, 120 outlet. Obviously, 220 is a little more efficient. Honestly, at this moment, it's just cheaper. It's just cheaper for me to run it off 110, 120. The outlets that I would need to purchase an additional PDU, because I purchased 4 PDUs, APC PDUs. And I would have to purchase another one or run an extended wire all the way down over here. And I'd rather just run it off of 110, 120. It'd be a lot easier. Mark off my box. Go ahead and install a 2-gang underneath the AC. If I do an additional rig here on this side later on, or additional rack later on, I want to have the flexibility later, without having to pull the box off and rewire stuff, to have a 120. And if the need arises, if there's so much heat in here that I need a larger unit, most of the larger units are the 220, 230, 240, whatever you call it. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in 2-gang here at the AC, where the AC is going to go. Go ahead and move the breaker box. If you watched my first video, you saw the breaker box that I purchased. 225 amp for the size of mining operation that I'm looking at. It's probably going to be more than enough. Let's go ahead and do a 1-gang, and then we'll do a 2-gang over here in the corner. That way, if I get nice and full over here, I can wrap it around and do rigs underneath here. And I can have a little bit of power back here. Probably put in another 2-gang over here. Well, I think I said I was going to do a 1-gang, but it's probably smarter that I do a 2-gang. 2 outlets, I can run 2 circuits. Let's put the 2-gang on the back here. All right. So now I'm going to mark the holes, or the areas where the holes will be for the wires to run. Use a special drill bit, drill through the wall. Be right back. This stuff doesn't have to be exact, guys, but I like to make it look decent. All right. Let's go ahead and do this wall, then we'll call it quits for tonight. Starting to get dark and a little colder. Make quite a mess here. Try to put it right in the center of the stud. I think I need a better drill. If I did this for a living, I'd have to go buy a drill right now. Got an absolute mess. All right. I think that guy's about had it. All right, guys, that's all for part 4. I appreciate you watching, and I'll do another stream tomorrow, and we'll work on some more. Everybody have a good day, night, wherever you are, or morning. Talk to you next time.